Hi everyone, thank you for joining me, Debbie from cariadcards.co, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card. We're going to make it in a different colourway. This one is in crumb cake and whisper white, and today we're going to do it in pool party and whisper white. So start off with a 6" by 6" card blank, and then cut a piece of pool party card to 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres or 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and a piece of whisper white card to 13.5 centimetres by 13.5 or 5.25 inches by 5.25 inches. I will put the measurements on my blog for you. Now, while I've got the whisper white card out, I'm going to do these embossed lines that you've seen me do many times. So for that, I'm going to get my Simply Scored board and pop that down there. That's the side that's going to be the front, so I'm going to put the card upside down so the front is facing downwards. Line the card up against these edges using the stylus that came with it. There's the edge of my card, that's the first groove, literally on the edge. I'm not going to use that, I'm going to go to the next groove in. And I'm not going to start at the edge, I'm just going to start about 1/8 of an inch in, put my stylus in the groove and just drag it down and stop about 1/8 of an inch before I get to the end. So it's like that, you see. Then when I turn my card 90 degrees, so there's the scored line that I've done, I can then match up, find the groove and just match up right to the corner and just drag it down, and again stop 1/8 of an inch before you finish. So you see you get this perfect corner here that doesn't go right to the edges. Again, I'm just going to turn my card around and do exactly the same thing, going down to 1/8 of an inch, or roughly, it's not an exact measurement. And then you're going to end up with a perfect embossed square around the outside edge, which I think it just finishes the card off beautifully without having to use too many layers of cardstock. I'm going to put my greeting on because I always do worry a little bit that what if I get right to the end of the card and mess up where I'm stamping my greeting. So it just means I can go back and start again if I do mess up. I'm using the Just Because sentiment, which comes from this stamp set, A Dozen Thoughts, and it's here. It's a beautiful, beautiful script, and it's a really nice message if you just want to send a message to somebody, literally just because. I've got pool party ink because I want to coordinate with my cardstock, and I don't really want the greeting to stand out absolutely massively. I'll just pull that down a little bit and then press, and there we are. Isn't that a beautiful colour, beautiful script? Okay, so I can set that on one side to dry. The next thing I'm going to do, just to give it a minute or two to dry, is you can see that I've used on the bird the I Love Lace stamp, and again on the flower. So I'm just going to ink that up and then stamp my card, and then it'll be dry by the time I want to use it. So I've got the I Love Lace stamp, which is a beautiful, beautiful stamp. If you can possibly afford to go for the wood one, then I would recommend that this time. The clear one with many sets, absolutely fine, and it is fine with this. It's just, it is a bit more rigid and a bit easier to handle. But if you've got the normal clear one, works perfectly fine. I tend to put mine upside down for this because it is a big solid stamp, and I find it easier to ink and just a little bit easier for me personally to handle. I don't have a lot of strength in my wrists. Okay, ink this up well. I think my problem is my pool party ink needs refilling, so I'm hoping I'm going to get a good stamped image. If not, it isn't the fault of the stamp, it's just the fault that I haven't re-inked. So I've got my card here. I'm going to pop that down, making sure I only pop it down and don't slide it, because otherwise you'll get a blurred stamped image. And I'm just rubbing my fingers gently over it, making sure not to move it at all. putting a decent amount of pressure on after a little while. And then it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you take it off. Ah, fine, brilliant. As I say, it's literally because I use this pool party so often, and I've got some re-inker on order. It's on its way soon, so I'm going to leave that to dry for a second. Now let's go back here. So we've got the outside edge, we've got this done, we've inked that up. I'm going to now make this tag, and for that I've got a bit of pool party card, 2 inches wide by 4 inches long. I've got my scalloped tag topper punch, and you want it 2 inches because it fits exactly into there. Oh, I think I've probably cut mine just slightly over 2 inches there. It's gone in beautifully. Push it right to the back and then press down, and you'll get this gorgeous, gorgeous scalloped edge. Now I'm also going to round my corners, and for that I've got my corner rounder, and you've got sort of what's that, like a 90-degree angle, and you just slot your card in so it fits perfectly against that edge and perfectly against that edge, and just press it down, and then you get a beautiful rounded corner. Okay, so there's my tag. And then I've also cut a bit of this lovely vellum that you know I like to use, the silver fancy foiled vellum. Now, because this is going to be partially covered up, when I cut it I was mindful of making sure I had some hearts on that side. If you cut it just in slightly the wrong place, you could end up with not a lot of the silver pattern showing. So just be mindful of where you cut it. So I know I'm going to have those showing. I may even get those showing depending on where I put the middle section. I'm also going, oh, I better tell you the size of that. Sorry, that was 3 inches that way by 1 3/4 inches that way. And I'm just going to use my corner punch again, just to round these corners. I do like the effect of rounded corners on designs such as this. Now, you've seen me attach vellum before. I find the best way is to use a glue dot. Now, the glue dots do show through the vellum, so if you put them behind these silver sections, they will not show, which is brilliant. Okay, so I've got my glue dots. I don't know if I'm the only one who ends up with a long amount that I really should have taken off. Okay, so I'm just going to pop 4 on here, so 1 really on each of the silver sections. So you just need to press that onto the glue dot and it will pick it up. If you've never tried glue dots, definitely order some next time you put your Stampin' Up order in. They're brilliant for attaching things that won't stick down with double-sided tape or glue very well. There, you see, it's stuck beautifully and you can't see the glue dots. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is have a go at putting this ribbon on. If I make a complete hash of it, then I may just stop the camera and do it off camera. As you know, I have a bit of a problem with ribbons. I've got the which size is that? 1/4 inch pool party cotton ribbon. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful ribbon. Absolutely gorgeous. And it normally ties really well. Although having said that, it probably doesn't have to deal with a bow challenged person such as me. Okay, so I tend to just tie a knot, and then I have been trying this technique, this sort of bunny ears technique, where you put the left over the right and then pull through. Let's see if it works. Oh, actually that's not too bad. I do find with ribbons I tend to mess, and like many things you probably should just leave them once you've done them. Once they look reasonable, just walk away. Okay, I'm just cutting my ends. And I have found with this ribbon it does tend to make a bow beautifully without me having to faff too much. So there's my tag done, background done, that done. I've got my I Love Lace stamp done. I'm just going to show you how I made those. For those I used the Framelits Labels collection, and I've used the 2 smallest ones, and I've just gone ahead and pre-cut those just to save a minute or 2 on camera, and because my die cutter does tend to shake the camera. So I used the Pool Party with the larger one, and that cut beautifully, and then the Whisper White with the small one. So I just popped those on the card and ran them through the die cutter. Going to now make my bird. So I've got my bird punch, Stampin' Up! Bird punch. It's going to pop that onto there. You can go along and choose the pattern that you want to show through, or you can just pick something randomly. So that's my bird punch done. And then the only other bits I need to do are my flowers. So for that I've got a little bit of Pool Party and my Petite Petals punch. So I'll just cut one of those out. I'm just getting all my bits cut out and ready and sorted. And then I've got my petal punch, my little blossom punch from the Itty Bitty Accents set, where you get 3 punches. And I'm just going to pick a little piece of the lace pattern and punch that out. So now I just need to start assembling. So let's go. I'm going to glue that onto there. Just find my glue. Now this really is at the end of its life, so hopefully we'll be able to get a bit out. Okay, excellent. And just pop that onto there, just lining it up. There we go. And then my flower, I'm going to use, sorry I'm working a bit messily aren't I? I'm going to use my paper piercing mat and my paper piercing tool. So Stampin' Up! Paper piercing mat, paper piercing tool, use the rounded edge and just press down, and then you get your 3D effect. And again with that blossom, just press down. Okay, that's done. And again I'm going to use a glue dot just to attach that onto there. And then I'm going to, where am I? Oh, let's pop a rhinestone on. I did get the pearls out, but let's be a little bit daring today. So, let's have a decent sized one so we can see it. Oh, these rhinestones look beautiful with the Pool Party. Ah, I think I must have some glue on the back of that. It was just sticking. So tag done, flower done, that done. Just need to attach that to there. I'm going to use a dimensional for that, which I think I'm probably going to use one of the edge bits of the dimensional because I don't want it to be too large. And then pop that onto there. This bird punch is so pretty. I've used a little bit of glue to attach the branch onto here. Just popped a little bit along there. And then sort of just put it at an angle going down because I know the bird is going to go over that. And then a full dimensional on the back of the bird. So we're just literally assembling all the pieces so that we can put the card together. So decide where you want your bird. I'm going to have mine there. And then I think we're ready now to start putting the card together. So there's the card blank. Got my layer here. Pop a little bit of glue just along the edges. I'm using glue, and you know I like that. You can use double-sided, snail, fast fuse, whatever method you find works for you the best. I must say I do love both the Pool Party and the crumb cake together. They're one of those colour combinations that just look so elegant. Little bit of glue around the outside, not too much. You don't need to glue everywhere. And make sure you got your sentiment the right way up, your cards the right way up. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay. And then I'm going to, we're going to use dimensionals. Yes, let's use some dimensionals to pop this one on with. There, look, I've managed to cut down. Normally I would put one there, one there, one there, one there and one there. I'm trying ever so hard because you really don't need them. These are so good. Right, I'm going to, where shall I pop that? Round about there. I don't want to obscure my message, and my bow is a little bit bigger, I think, than with the crumb cake. Although I need to leave room to put my flower. You see my bow is a little bit flatter there. I suppose I could wiggle it around a little bit because I really don't want it taking away from my message. Now, got to have a look where we're going to put this. If I pop it there, I'd see all my hearts, but it looks a little bit sort of out of place. So I think I'm going to put it there and I'll still see those hearts. Now, if you look at that, if I put a dimensional there, that, because there's dimensionals on the back of the tag, is actually 2 dimensionals high. So I'm just going to put one there. So that sits slightly raised, but I'm going to need 2 there. I hope you follow what I'm saying. I'm sure you do. That just then sort of counteracts this one just having one there already. So, where did we say we'd put it? I think we said we'd put it, there, that was it, wasn't it? Okay, so now because we've got the additional height here, that now lays flat. And the only other thing to put on is the flower. And that's where I'd put it before, but I think I'm going to be daring and put it there this time, because that almost gives me a nice diagonal line going up there. I do tend to look for balance in things. Okay, one more glue dot on the back of here. Easiest way to attach it, I think. And I think, yeah, let's pop that there. So we've now got 2 cards, same or similar design, in 2 different colours, crumb cake and pool party. Thank you very much for joining me, Debbie, at cariadcards.co.